Thank you for joining us. I'm Mary Yanez, Director of the Senior Adult Program, and this is Mature Living. And we're back in force now that it's fall and the new classes are starting for our Senior Adult Program. We're also starting our Mature Living show back again. And so we have interesting guests today to share some information on technology and how it has now come before us as we care for our seniors in the homes. So I've invited a couple of people here that are been here before. Carlos Camacho Jr., thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Mary.
You're the owner-operator of Always Best Care Senior Services. And of course, I see Linda out in the community, Linda Gonzalez, who is the Community Relations Director. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I want to get started because I want to find out how Carlos got involved in caring, services in the home for seniors or adults, right?
Yes, ma'am. So we've been in El Paso for 4 years now, but Always Best Care has been around since 1996. So all over the country and in Canada as well, there's approximately about 115 different agencies across the country. And I got involved with it. Most of us have had some family issues in the past, and in my circumstance, my father had gone through brain cancer when he was much younger, and I saw the toll it took on our family, and basically my mom kind of took on that role of caregiver for all that time and stuff. So when I've had an opportunity to look for a business for myself, this particular one really resonated with that.
Yes.
And really gave me an opportunity to give back to the community as well.
That's awesome. And also, what was your career? What has been your career?
Oh, prior to this, oddly enough, is my background's in manufacturing and my degree's in mechanical engineering.
Interesting. That's
Yes,
really interesting, because that's how most people come about to providing services for seniors, because they've had those experiences.
Right.
Yes,
all of us either haven't yet or will.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
There's no escaping it.
That's true.
But I also want to ask Linda about the in-home services. When people come to you when you're out and about at health fairs, what are the most frequently asked questions that you get? And tell us about your in-home services.
Well, our in-home services we do ADLs. We go ahead and help with bathing, dressing, grooming. We end up taking people to their doctor's appointments, getting medications, medication reminders, helping with light housekeeping, cooking, things of that nature, going ahead and making sure that they can continue to live a nice, productive life in their home setting, safe. Yes, you do see me around all over town, and referrals come from every avenue. They can end up coming from a health fair like we did just this weekend, or they could end up coming from a doctor, hospital, clinics everywhere. Yeah.
And so when you do the intake, I guess all these questions come out. What are the services that your mom or dad need? Sometimes it's a son or a daughter or a family member that approaches.
Basically, what I do is I go and I do an assessment. I go do an assessment, and I ask all of the questions and try to get to know the client as best as I can, to go ahead and match the right caregiver to their specific needs, and ask the family members what exactly do they want and how they want their family member to be taken care of. What is it exactly? Because there's specific things that people enjoy. And so we want them to continue to enjoy those things
and stay at home.
Yeah,
which is what we want to do.
Exactly.
And so, what's different about your organization?
That's his portion.
Here's where we go to Carlos Camacho.
So, on top of our, caregivers, we really scrutinize on the whole process for hiring and having the appropriate caregiver and the best match that we can have, because it is a lot about matchmaking. But on top of that, we're typically not in the home 24/7. So we look for ways that we can add value for our clients and make sure that they continue to be safe at home. And I have 3 ways today that we provide that.
I see you've brought some props here. So.
I did. The first one that I want to show you is the closest to me is what we call remote patient monitoring. Yes.
Okay, let's see.
And this is what our clients would get. And I do want to mention that of the three, none of them are out-of-pocket cost for our clients. Okay. So this particular one, this is what we call a cellular unit. And this connects directly, does not use our client's phone line or internet service or anything. This is a cellular unit that communicates directly with our on-call service, where we have nurses on call 24/7.
Very good.
And what the process is basically is we do an assessment of our clients as far as what they need. In this case, I'll show you this particular, which a lot of us have seen because of the whole pandemic. It's a pulse meter.
Yes.
And a client will take a measure, vitals, and they'll take a measure of their pulse, and this goes directly to the cellular unit to our nurse call center.
Wow, that is amazing. That is so cool.
So if it's out of spec, so it might be a little different depending on what the needs of our client are. They're not all the same. But depending on what those parameters are, they may flag the on-call service that there may be an emergency.
Okay.
There's also we do the blood pressure, we do the glucose meter. There's even a scale. There's other devices that can work. I don't have them all here, but that's how that works. And the call center communicates directly with the client through the cellular unit. So you'll hear a voice talking to you, and usually the caregiver is there when the client is taking their vitals, so the caregiver can also interact and
Super.
and if there should be an emergency. I don't want to run out of
time, but I know you have two other items.
I do.
This one is called Sensi AI.
This one we're very excited about. We've just started offering this to all our clients now. It's called Sensi AI. And how this works is this also works through the internet.
That's good.
We would install one of these, 3 of these pods.
Kind of looks like a Siri, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
It works like that.
Kind of.
The difference with this is that it doesn't save any information. But if, for instance, our client were to take a medication and feeling dizzy, and they were to mention, "Oh, I'm feeling ill," or I don't feel so good," it picks that up. And those send a signal directly to our agency and will flag us to tell us that there may be a concern.
And so there's 3 of them per client?
Yes.
There's 3, so we want to put one of those in each of the areas where they most inhabit. For instance, it could be, most of the time it's going to be the living room where they're watching TV. It could be
bedroom.
It could be a bedroom where
and
they're
maybe
sleeping.
even the bathroom, because I think those are probably really important areas.
Right.
Yes, a bathroom, and somebody might think a bathroom, but if they're showering and they might have a slip, is where they most tend to have a fall. And I do want to mention that falls are like one of the number 1 reasons why people even come looking for us, because they get hurt in one way or another.
And the third, which is really nice that your clients, only your clients get these devices.
Yes, yes. And the third is this big guy right here, which is actually looks like a big scale. That's what it is. And I do want to tell people that we're not weighing you, so don't hesitate.
Don't worry.
We're not weighing you. We don't get that information.
thought.
But this is what we call our balance tracker system. And basically, you'll stand on this, and this measures sway. So what we want to measure is, and sway or stance is affected by different things. It could be a medication that make you feel dizzy. It could be an injury that you've incurred that is knocking you off balance. It could be some illness and what we want to do is we want to measure, and some people may say, well, I know I don't have a good balance, that's why I use a cane but some clients are very reluctant to use a cane or a walker, especially. Oh, I'm not going to use that.
I think I am one of those.
And so what we do with this is we measure your sway and we detect how stable you are, per se. And it'll give us some measures. And let me put this down here.
This is one of the reports that ends up we print.
Balance and fall risk.
Exactly. And so that report, you can end up taking it, showing it to your therapist, your doctor, and they can end up showing where they're measured at, and prescribe more physical therapy, or end up insisting, telling them you really do, because of these numbers, need to use your walker or use your cane for your safety and whatnot.
So it has a green, a yellow, and a red
Exactly.
area where it tells you.
And we take a baseline. So, many people say, well, yeah, I know I'm not got good balance or whatnot. But once we set that balance and then they consult with their doctor, let's say they get prescribed some exercises to improve that,
Yes.
or, as simple as maybe just walking every day, a certain amount. And then we can take a measure, in a couple of months and see the improvement.
Yes.
And so kind of, it's kind of talk to people, encourage them to continue.
Well, this is very, very different
Yes.
in what many of our healthcare, home care services are offering. And that's going to make you special. There's going to make you different. Anything else that I haven't asked that, you talked a little bit about referrals. How many staff members do you have? Does it vary depending on the number of clients that you're serving?
Yes.
And sometimes males want a male
Yes.
person to come to their home.
Yes. So, we have right now, it fluctuates, but we have about 70 or so caregivers across the city. And in our office, we've just got about 4 or 5 members. Linda comes in and out most of the time. She's out and about, but yeah, if they need a male, which are hard to come by the way,
Yes.
very very hard to come by, but we can. We might have to staff. Sometimes we quote between 3 to 5 days.
And sometimes you're always hiring, right? Because
Yes.
there's
Always.
turnover.
Yes.
Always.
There's turnover, so
Right.
they can always come see you. And where might they get a hold of you? Where are you located? And your phone number and everything that we can provide so that people
Sure.
can reach you. And give your name again, because I, don't mention it enough.
The company's name is always Best Care Senior Services, and my number is area code 915-329-6266.
Yes.
And then if you, they can get in touch with me also through my email, which is Al Gonzalez, GONZALEZ @abc-seniors.com.
Very good. Linda Gonzalez. And then also, where are you located, actually?
We are located centrally. We're off of Yandel and Piedras. But you can also find us. We have our webpage,
Yes.
alwaysbestcare.com. You can find us there. And you can also reach out. There's our number for our office. It's 915-250-0177. You can reach out to us there as well.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you for having us.
Wow, this was a very interesting interview, and thank you for being here again. And this is Mature Living, and we'll be back with another guest in just a few minutes.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I told myself she'd fallen. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to believe it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator. There was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
My stuff kept disappearing, but I told myself I was misplacing it. I didn't want to see the truth. My daughter was stealing from me.
Many of us don't want to see the signs, don't want to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. If you suspect elder abuse, call the police or your local agency on aging. You don't have to prove abuse is taking place to report it. Remember, elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs, stop the crimes.
To learn more, visit ncpc.org.
Well, thank you for staying with us here on Mature Living. We want to continue our conversation, and I know you're watching from your cozy chair, from your living rooms, and we want to tell you about our classes. One of us, a special class that I even enjoyed taking is the Expressions of Life class. And so I've invited Nancy Green, who's the instructor, to that class. She's a professor with our senior adult program. This class has been going like for 6 years. But she's been serving the college for about 15 years. So she's been a good community partner and friend of the senior adult program. Nancy, thank you for being with us. I know you have some things to tell us, some things to show us, and maybe some readings. Thank you so much for taking time to be here.
Thank you for inviting me, Mary. It's always a pleasure to come to Mature Living.
Tell us a little bit about your career, where you were raised. I love learning about my instructors and how they also will learn when they get to meet you in class.
I was born here in El Paso at Beaumont Hospital. My mother Mexican, my father African American. I was raised in Juarez with my abuelita and of course my aunt, my mother. Until I was 9 years old, my father had gone to Korea, was injured. And so, you know, even though my mother and father separated, she remarried a señor, a gentleman who worked at Azarco. And we moved to Segundo Barrio because as a U.S. citizen, I couldn't be crossing back and forth to go to school to Sacred Heart Elementary School.
Oh my gosh, yes, Sacred Heart.
Yes, and then went to AOA and then went to Bowie Middle School, graduated from Bowie in 1971. Was in the Upward Bound program at UTEP. And then when I completed, when I graduated from high school and completed the Upward Bound program, then moved to the Boston area to go to school, to attend Brandeis University, and stayed in the Boston area for 23 winters.
Oh, you call them 23 winters. I know why. Because coming from the Southwest,
It was like cold.
It was cold.
It was cold, and yet it was an amazing environment, very diverse. It's Boston is a college town, so there were students from all over the world, and the Caribbean community was very accepting. For me, being Black and Mexican, was unique for El Paso, and yet among the Caribbean community, I was family. You know,
Yes.
come over, let's have some coffee.
That's
Let's,
great.
you know, had
Very involved in the
tasted.
community as well, huh?
Yeah, became a social worker for a while, was an organizer, a community organizer, and also became a musician.
Oh,
you know,
yes, of course.
and, you know, I had been in the band at Bowie, but playing the clarinet. But when I got to Boston, I started to explore different types of flutes, and I learned the different drumming rhythms. And so I used them in the class, the expressions of life, in different ways. I invite the students to explore the instruments. We listen to music. We watch videos where there's dance and, you know, and music is being played.
Yes.
You know,
And we'll be starting classes at the Ambrosio Guillen Veterans Home for Veterans again very soon. So I know you'll be also teaching there very soon, hopefully. And so tell us a little bit about the class, the Expressions of Life class, and that's starting already. We can still register more students in this class. I hope we entice people with the description you're going to give us.
In the Expressions of Life class, we have dialogues, pláticas. We get to talk about our lives, our experiences, what is important to us at this point in our lives. You know, and there's a lot of wisdom in the room because everyone brings so much to explore.
Conversation.
The conversation, the knowledge, you know, the wisdom.
And the writings.
Amazing writings. I was watching a video, a Mature Living video of one of the students who passed away. And it was so touching because she wrote about passing. And now her family has that memory, you know, of her alive, talking about how she doesn't regret what she lived, you know, through her life, and how she feels blessed that when she crosses over, she will be in the arms of God. And so, you know, those experiences for me as an instructor are unique because that makes me and all of us who knew Concepcion Urueta, may she rest in peace, it makes us a better person.
Yes. And you also mentioned in class the 40 developmental assets that you go through and we write about.
The 40 developmental assets, they're building blocks, they're values. For example, the first one is family support. And they were written primarily for children and adolescents, but we as older adults can relate to them. Do we have family support? And how does that show up, in our lives? What does it look like in our lives? How do we receive it? How do we ask for it? And then the last one is an optimistic view of the future. Do we have that in our lives? Are we optimistic about the future, our own future, and the future of our family? ¿Verdad? Creative, being engaged in creative activities. Senior adult program creates so many opportunities for older adults to be engaged in dance, in music, in gardening, in painting. And we do a lot of creative writing because we'll talk.
Yes, we have about 60 classes that we're offering at no tuition. Have to be 55 years and older, and to me that's a youngster.
Yes, yes.
But tell me, you're holding a very beautiful document here,
Well, you were very instrumental by providing a very strong community letter. I applied for a grant from the City of El Paso Museums and Cultural Affairs Department for a project, a one-year project, and I entitled it Voices of Change, ¿verdad? And
Can you hold it up a little bit? Yeah.
You were very supportive. Your letter of support allowed me as a lead artist to receive the funding, and I chose the David L. Carrasco Job Corps Center under the direction of Margarita Lozano Reyes, the education and training director, and then of course Rose Guerrero, who is the director of the Job Corps Center. They were both very excited about engaging the students there in doing arts education classes, and I was able to provide them, drawing a lot of inspiration from the senior adult program classes, the Expressions of Life class.
Yes, and is the collage something that they created as well?
Yes, they created it themselves. That's something that I've also brought into the Expressions of Life class. So it's something that as an instructor I'm familiar with. I have an understanding of how the group works, how the group automatically organizes itself, and everyone is able to contribute to a collective project. And so I wanted to thank you personally for not only giving us a strong letter of support, but also providing 50 copies of this publication so that each one of the students who wrote was able to receive a copy, and some of the administrators and teachers at the Job Corps Center as well. And I'm hoping to be able to share it with the Expressions of Life students.
Yes, our seniors, huh?
Yes.
So could we have a little sample of what's in there that you could read?
Certainly. One of the 40 developmental assets focuses on respect.
Okay.
Respect for self, respect for others. And so I asked the students to write a short essay on respect. And this young woman, Cristina Circhia, her goal is to become an anthropologist. But right now she's going into the healthcare field and is an excellent writer.
It would be wonderful for her to meet Gina.
And she's already met Claudia Ley, who's become her mentor, and has invited her to also present and do a reading. Cristina and the rest of the Job Corps students who participated to do a reading at the Rubin Center.
Dr. Gina Nunez.
Dr. Nunez. Pero Claudia Ley is working at the Rubin Center, and she's already invited the students to go and present a spoken word reading. Yes. Cristina writes about respect. She says, respect is something we keep close to the ones we care about, to be treated with dignity, love, and cherished friendship. Respect is the one thing to keep close with the people you care about, to not treat others differently because of uncontrollable sadness, anger, or hatred. People come, walk, and become the past. But do not forget or change yourself, even if a mark has been left in their hearts. To give respect to others is always to bring love and kindness, even if there is pain and anguish. The importance of love is given by chance, so bring it to others, even if they don't want it back, even if they only have darkness left in them. Respect is to honor the choices given before taking action, to support them through our success in life. The soul within you only becomes stronger by giving love all around and to never change for no one. A young woman, starting her life journey, has gathered wisdom, most likely from the elders in her family and in her community. And I wrote also because I wanted to share with the students how I felt about them. And this is also how I feel about you and the senior adult program. What a blessing to recognize your sacred presence in my humble path, to value our shared humanity and assert our right to be who we are meant to be. I learn from our diverse choices in this wonderful journey called life, for our differences reflect a unique aspect of each other's destiny. Our collective responsibility to nurture and care for ourselves, each other, and our precious planet unites us with all living beings. In the eternal cycles of universal consciousness, peace and balance help us understand that we are one. Respect.
Very beautiful, very, very beautifully written by you, Nancy Green.
Thank you.
And I do want to say that you always bring yourself into the classroom amongst your students, and we look forward to the class, the Expressions of Life class. I want to give the phone number where people can call our senior adult program at area code 915-831-7801, where you can find out how to register. And you can go to any campus and register for the Expressions of Life class, which is held every Tuesday,
3 to 5, and we're here at the ASC Building B, room 321.
In 9050 Viscount at the El Paso Community College Administrative Service Center. Thank you, Nancy, for being with us. I really appreciate your time, and oh my gosh, excellent Voices of Change. And we'll promote all of these voices of change.
Thank you, Mary.
And that's it for us. It's a wrap for our Mature Living show, and we'll see you all next week.